Hey everyone, she was cuddling Kitwana. Tony the Tiger has been around for 7 decades now. And Tony the Tiger was one of the very first mascots I remember from my childhood. I remember the commercials in the early 90s here in Switzerland that even had him dubbed into Swiss German. And that was long, long before I knew I was a furry, and long, long before I even cared about mascots. But it wasn't until now that we finally got an action figure of Tony the Tiger. There were plenty of plushies and other merchandise items that featured him. But no action figure until early 2025. And yet, here we are. Here we have one. From Jada Toys, released in April 2025, comes this 1/12 scale, highly poseable, highly articulated action figure of Tony the Tiger. Wow, that's certainly a dream come true. I never thought we would get to that point, much less considering today's economy and the tariff situation and everything. But it's finally there. It just got delivered to my den and I cannot wait to look at it. I mean, Tony means so much to me. He's a childhood hero, and I think let's start looking at this figure. But as always, we look at the box first, and especially if you are watching from the US, then the box design of this action figure will look very, very familiar to you. And I can prove that because I've got an actual box of Frosted Flakes, the US version. Unfortunately in Europe they don't like, the European Union doesn't like having mascots on products geared towards children, but the US version still features Tony the Tiger prominently on the front, of course, that iconic artwork, as well on the back. And the same theme is going on with the box of the action figure. Take a look. It's the exact same artwork like it is on the Frosted Flakes box. And here we've got some artwork of Tony, and on the side and on the back we've got a photo of the action figure, the actual action figure. But the coolest thing actually is that little Easter egg on the side of the box, where it usually says nutrition facts. They've got the action figure facts, and it lists all the specifications of the figure. Comes with 21 points of articulation and several accessories. We'll have a look at those later in the video. Down here is the barcode and all the legal information, if that's important for you. And the box even has one of these handles, so maybe it will even show up at retail, traditional brick and mortar stores. That's interesting. And the box is a beautiful window display box. So you just have to open the flap here, and then we can see some more Tony artwork on the inside flap. It's got Tony and says slam dunk, Tony with the basketball, and you can see the figure in a display window with all the accessories. And I don't need many more words But instead, let's unbox this figure. Alright, the figure is packaged in this plastic case. We can take that out, and the cardboard inlay has some more artwork printed on, which is a really nice touch. They really spared no expense. And the only thing we have to actually destroy is the tape that holds the plastic cover in place. So let's take a pair of scissors, cut through the tape and remove the cover. And oh wow, take out the actual figure first before we look at the accessories. And wow, doesn't he look great? Tony the Tiger, our childhood hero. Finally we have him as an action figure. And speaking of great, talk about the size. First, exactly 16 centimeters to the top of his ears. That's just over 6 inches. So that's half the size of a Barbie or Ken doll, 1/12 scale. I actually prefer 6 scale figures, so that they actually match up with some of my dolls and other action figures, but I'm not the one complaining. It is what it is. We have a 12 scale Tony, and that's better than no Tony at all. Let's take a close look at the figure, starting with the head, and wow, they did such an amazing job. Look at that. They really nailed Tony's face. He's got that encouraging smile, that, come on, let's do this smile. You can see he's got an open mouth. You can even see they molded a tongue in there and painted it red. The eyes are absolutely lovely. Very, very accurate. The blue nose. And these whiskers look rather delicate. I'm not daring to touch them. I fear they could fall off easily, so I'm going to be very careful. You can see his red kerchief. Yes, that's the correct expression for it. That's got his name printed on it. I'm actually not daring either to remove that. I don't think I would get it back on. Let's take an all-around look at the head, and then down the body. The paint job is really, really nice, really accurate. Let's note the arms, hands, and all the way down to his legs and feet. The body actually feels very muscular. The figure actually feels heavy. Feels pretty well made and durable, except for the whiskers. That's an all-around great looking Tony, so incredibly accurate. Now that we are on it, let's take a look at the articulation. It's said to have 21 points of articulation. The head can basically go all around 360 and a little bit forward and backward, as well as tilting to the side. Really not too much. I guess his kerchief gets a bit in the way, but that's fine. Better not remove it. But you can make up for it with the movement range that the torso provides. We've got 2 joints in the torso. He can lean backwards, forward, like that. And then the arms, the shoulders, they go in and out. The elbow joints are a little bit tight right out of the packet. So I had to use some force. I was trying to be careful at the same time. But it works, it works. Just have to be careful not to destroy the whiskers. And then the legs and feet, they are highly articulated as well. The hip joints are on a ball joint, as you can see. Even the underside of the feet, the soles, have kind of like paw pads. Really nice detail. But it's somewhat of a problem that these feet are rather tiny. They had to design him very accurate to the cartoon character. His tail can actually act as a little stand as well. Goes around 360. Swings in and out. And he's got tiny feet, so that makes it's somewhat difficult to assume all the poses as seen in the promotional shots, as you will see later on. Some of these poses definitely do require hand support. With that being said, let's see what we've got in terms of accessories. I want to start first with that cereal box. This is really, really cute and incredibly accurate as well on such a small scale. Look at that. It's the actual current design of the US packaging. And they printed it on all sides. I couldn't get the QR code on the back to work, but it's certainly amazing that they were able to replicate that on such a small scale. That is amazing. Even the nutrition facts and everything are there. Now let's give that box into Tony's hand. That is already the right hand that he's got out of the package already on his arm can hold the cereal box like this. But that also gives Tony quite a bit of weight. And you have to be careful for him not to tip over. In fact, he tipped over several times as I was shooting this video. Thankfully nothing happened to the whiskers, but definitely be careful, be very careful. I think a stand wouldn't have been a luxury for him. And then let's continue. I'm going to show you some of the other hands and accessories as well. Let's continue with the basketball. And for that, we need to change his left hand. And you're going to attach the one that has the peg on his index finger. And the ball, the basketball, is pretty nice as well, although they forgot to paint the black lines on the ball. This is just an unpainted ball. That goes onto that peg. And it actually fits rather loose. I was pretty surprised. I mean, the hands, they actually have a really tight fit, but that ball only fits very loosely, and you can add a spinning effect to that ball with that transparent plastic piece. I'm not entirely convinced of that. I think it looks a little bit silly. I get the idea though. Up next we have the cereal bowl, and for that you have to change both hands. His right hand holds the spoon. That spoon is actually molded as a separate piece. I guess it would be possible to remove it from his hand, but I'd rather not try that. And here's the bowl full of Frosted Flakes. It looks like they forgot the milk or add some tiny effect to it. Other than that, it looks great. And you can hold that using another special hand. Put that on, and then you can have him pose like he's eating his favorite Frosted Flakes and tells you everything about how important that first meal of the day is. That's how we remember Tony. And that very same hand that he uses to hold the cereal bowl can actually also hold the basketball. Let's bring in the basketball again and attach that to his hand and turn his hand around like this. And you can see the ball actually holds rather tight, fits rather tight into that peg. Wow, that's really cool. Tony the Tiger playing basketball. That's how we remember him from the commercials. But I think I like him best with the signature pose. That is, if you have ever met him, the actual mascot, who still occasionally appears in Walmarts across the US. And when you pose with Tony, then he usually goes into that pose, pointing his right index finger up. Yeah, oh, they're great. Or maybe I go back to give him his Frosted Flakes box into his hand. Yeah, I think let's do that. And left hand, thumbs up. Yeah, that's cool. But the poses this figure allows you to do without hand support are rather limited because there's a lot of weight in his upper body. It's resting on relatively tiny legs and feet. You really need to have a sturdy self, a safe place where you can put him on display, and perhaps you have to prop him up against something. And if you ever need to put Tony back in storage, you can do that. As I told you initially, just put everything back into the plastic like this. Put the box back, basketball back, and all the hands actually, they do fit right back in place. And make sure you put the hands back onto the figure that he originally came with as you removed him from the package, because that's the only way he will fit. Put the plastic cover back on, slide everything back into the box, close it up, and then you've got Tony back in a safe location. And of course, I've got two of them, so I can have one on display. Right here, you can see the figure in front of me, rather delicate, but it's looking so great, and I'm sure I'll find the space for him. Behind me on one of my shelves, Tony the Tiger is available right now. I got mine from BigBadToyStore.com for $29.99 US dollars, plus worldwide shipping. Actually only took 10 days for them to send it from the US to Switzerland, and fortunately I did not have to pay a tariff surcharge. The situation is very fluid, so keep in mind that price could eventually change. They reserve the right to put a tariff surcharge on it, but I was lucky to get away with $29.99, and definitely try not to pay more than that. I see it's on eBay already for like $44, or already almost double that price. So for now, the Big Bad Toy Store seems to be your best sourcing location for this great figure. Let's see if I can put him here safely, because I want to show you something else, Tony the Tiger. I want you to stay tuned for the next episode, because for the next episode we are going to have something even greater, and that's this Vintage Plus from 1998 actually. This great looking cross will be the star of my next episode of Kitwana Toys. And I hope to see you again for that episode. And remember, goodbye.